If there's one team that can chase it down with their style of play, it probably would be England, but it's been a thrilling series, and I think a 2-2 result would probably be the best result for this series. There's been nothing in it. A lot of teams have not had their best players out on the park, as England and India haven't had in this game at the Oval. So let's see what happens in day 4. Should be a terrific culmination to this Test series.
Yeah, England 2-1 up. It's been a bit of a dampener, hasn't it? No Stokes, and particularly no Bumrah, rested. Stokes is injured. What are you going to do? But Bumrah just rested. Well, for the second time.
But I think he was, nursing injuries all the way through. He's your best bowler in the world, probably. So why not look after him? And what Stokes did in that previous match was just crazy. He continued to bowl with his shoulder, was obviously grimacing in pain. Why do it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at the time. How many overs did he bowl in a row at one stage? I'm not sure what the exact number was, but it must have been 8 or 9 or 10 maybe more. For a bloke that was bowling at serious pace, and he's the captain, so he can take himself off at any stage.
Surely you've got to be looking forward to the Ashes series, and also Wokes injured himself, so there's been some injuries out of left field in this series for the Poms. Now, tell us about this Hungarian Grand Prix. Bit of an upset there for the pole position.
Yeah, massive result. There was a bit of, a big variable late was the track temperature, which plummeted late on in qualifying, which can throw a spanner. And Charles Leclerc has been able to jump up onto pole. Now, Ferrari had no pace all weekend through practice. Hamilton's down in 12th. He's had no pace all season, but Hamilton, who's Leclerc's Ferrari teammate, down in 12th. It was expected that the McLarens of Piastri and Norris would completely dominate. I don't know what the market was for pole position prior to qualifying last night, but I dare say Leclerc would have been 50-1 of some sort, maybe more, maybe 100. So a big turn up there. He's on pole. Piastri will start second, but I still think the McLaren should be able to get the job done. But certainly a massive surprise, and another massive surprise last night was the Wallabies.
Yes, they've got up
2-12 winners over the British and Irish Lions. They were big outsiders in that one as well. With
sold out crowd. Yeah, magnificent, and that's a good effort for the Wallabies. They, if you put them on a graph, they were improving all the way through, weren't they?
They were a bit unlucky last game, weren't they?
Yeah,
a bit unlucky.
Football last night, well, that was an epic game, and you just saw the defending champs. I remember we'll talk to Brad Hardie about this later on, about a month ago. I forget who they beat. But Brad said we've just seen the proper favourites go around. Well, last night they showed it. And as you said coming in here, Alex, isn't it amazing what teams can do coming off that insipid performance last week against the Gold Coast to bounce back like that against Collingwood in such a big game, 82,000 at the G, and it was led by their younger players.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You're right. They've actually had a pretty good 6 weeks. They beat Geelong at Cardinia. They've beaten Port, smashed Carlton. They beat the Bulldogs. And then they just, for whatever reason, didn't turn up. From top to tail, didn't turn up against the Suns last week and were battered by 11 goals. But they were impressive last night. They jumped out of the blocks. The Pies really surged at stages in that second half and late in the first half. And you thought maybe now the Pies are going to start to get the better of it at home.
Yep.
But no, they were too good. Logan Morris, how good's this kid?
Oh, he's a ripper. No, we've been on him for a while now. He is just such a good player. And when you go back to the game, Brisbane led and Collingwood looked in trouble. As you said, Collingwood surged back. That goal by Morris just before half-time was so important just to put them back in front. And then you thought, well, this is just set up for another great tussle. But Brisbane come out and said, OK, you think our pressure was good in the first half, get a bit of our little 260 pressure rating in the third quarter. It was outstanding.
And it just, but I think we speak about Logan Morris, who was wonderful, but it was the midfield battle.
For sure.
The work those midfielders did. McCluggage, 34 possessions.
Yep.
His second half was one of the best second halves I've seen all season. Dunkley is one of the more underrated players.
Well, he then had to play that role
Dacos had
on
no
Dacos
impact when the game was on the line. Neil, 36 possessions, 20 contested, 12
gets him going,
clearances.
doesn't he?
Will Ashcroft was huge late as well, had 30 touches. And then someone like Cam Rayner. What a second half he
Cameo,
had.
couldn't see him in the first half, comes out in the second half and turns it on. That's the sort of player he is. That's the sort of side they've got, those type of players. So
38 clearances to 22. Domination in the midfield.
I thought the big ruckman played really well against Cam. If you have a look at the taps, Cameron slightly in front, I think.
Yeah,
but
35 to 40.
Yeah, but I sort of, if you noted the way he played him, he got behind Cameron and put an arm around him. I didn't like it. I thought there was a few times, and I want to say this, I thought Brisbane did get the rub of the green throughout the evening. I think it was 20 to 13, but not just that. There were a lot not paid, some paid, 50s, the whole lot. So, but I didn't like the way he played him, but it must be legal. So if that's the case, Cameron, and I don't know if you noticed, but in the second half started jumping. So what was happening is that he had to find another way, which he did. It was an enthralling ruck battle, really was. But I think it tells us that Big Mac's probably done and dusted at this stage. McInerney.
Oscar McInerney,
yeah.
It's been a while. Darcy's held down that spot for a fair number of weeks now, hasn't he? And he's doing a good job. And as you said, he's sort of got that tactical nous, doesn't he? Whether you like it or not, he's able to find a way more often than not. 66 hit-outs against the Gold Coast and Collingwood the last 2 weeks. So
I think it was brilliant coaching too by the Brisbane coaching staff, because they were able to turn it after half-time into a bit of a stoppage game, and this is where they killed. If you have a look at stoppages around the grounds, broke even in the centre, but around the grounds, Brisbane just dominated. And that's built on what you just said with their depth that they've got in their midfield. And all of a sudden they can throw numbers around every stoppage, suffocated Collingwood, and they come away with a game. So, I don't know what's the latest betting for the flag, but they'd have to be favourites on that. Would have to be.
Tab touch betting, they're not.
Right.
There is a new favourite though. It's not
Adelaide.
the Lions, and it's not the Crows, not the Pies. The Crows, 375. They're clear favourites.
Yeah, well, they get 2 games at home, don't they? They'll just keep going. Their performance on Friday night. We'll talk more footy with Brad later on, but go and have a look at the running stats in this game, and they are just a power beast. As we've been saying for many years, under Darren Burgess, it takes 2-3 years. That's when they peak. Their running stats out of this game blew Hawthorn to the Scheisenhausen. Total sprints, repeat sprints, and that's what it's all about. And have a look at them. They're all built like brick outhouses.
TAB Radio.
Okay, welcome back to the Aftermath live from the beautiful Port Headland Turf Club ahead of Cup Day today. But it's time to talk a bit of NRL, and the great James Sully Sullivan joins us now. Good afternoon. Good morning, Sal. How are you?
Yeah, g'day, Alex. G'day, Marty. Oh, I thought you might have been live from the pub. How good would that be?
Oh, yes, so no, we were very quiet
I feel like
yesterday.
I've only just spoken to you two lads.
Exactly. Lit it up Friday night after the show, but very good yesterday. Don't worry about that, punters. Hey, Sal, let's start off with the Wallabies. Got the money?
Oh, mate, they got everything there last night. They had lightning. They had torrential rain. Did you see it? And as you said, 8-0 at half-time. Big second half, like 3 tries to 2 in that second half. They end up winning 22-12. But, the Lions didn't like it. Oh, I'll tell you what, their captain needs I know what he needs. He needs smack to the old jaw, the arrogant, you know what. It was disgraceful. It was
So
great
what happened,
for the
Sal?
Wallabies.
Tell us what happened.
He just didn't acknowledge the Wallabies, throughout the series. They won it 2-1, but I tell you what, the Wallabies, the best thing about it is there's a feel-good for rugby union back in the country. We've got a World Cup coming up next year, so and that's the big thing. And to get the win, they deserve the win because they're very unlucky to lose game 2, Marty and Alex. So, and that's the thing. But, as I said, we saw a bit of everything, didn't we? The way the lightning breaks, they had to have a bit of a break, and they came back on, and the torrential rain. It's very wet in Sydney, as we know. But, I think at the end of the day, 22-12, and as I said, there's a lot of my union mates who are very, very happy today, and, they're up and about the Wallabies in the future.
And that was what they needed, that bit of positivity for the fans to go forward with, wasn't it, Sal? Because they've had a lean few years. They had a bad back end of last year. They only scraped in against Fiji before this series, and there were many predicting that the British and Irish Lions would whitewash them. But they've been very competitive up until now, and then they deserved that win last night.
Yeah, 100%. It's a bit like what Marty has said the last few weeks, Alex, is at the end of the day, all eyes have been on it, across the world. This is, as we know, it happens every 12 years. The British Irish Lions come to town, but all eyes have been on not just them, but the Wallabies. and the improvement in the Wallabies, all of a sudden now, obviously what we'll see, and people will know, moving forward, there's a little bit of a bright future. So that's what we wanted, and that's what we got out of the series.
Start off with the 3 NRL games from yesterday, and the Gold Coast Titans stretched the neck of the Panthers.
Bit of controversy late.
30, yeah. Tell us about this.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is 24-0 at half-time, the Panthers led. And then all of a sudden, clickety-click, the Titans said, let's have some fun. They score 5 tries in the second half. Jaden Campbell's line, what Alex is talking about, Jaden Campbell's lining up for a conversion. And this is a joke. I don't care if the blokes apologise. Ivan Cleary's, come out and said, it was an honest mistake. What a load of BS, Ivan. Fair dinkum. You have never seen a trainer never runs down in particular. This is a sideline conversion. Yep. Every trainer in rugby league, if they're behind in the in goal, they go bang and come up the sideline. This bloke knew exactly what he's doing. As Jaden Campbell's about to line up, this bloke's run straight in front of him. And people will go, oh, come on. No, come on. Take the 2 points off him. Fair dinkum, he's a cheat. And he's,
So what was the outcome? Just play on, was it, or what happened?
Well, he's gone. Jaden Campbell stopped. His balk stopped and started again. Sprayed it, right? That wins him the game. He sprayed the kick. But who's to know he's not going? Who's to know if he's going to kick? It was on the sideline, Marty. But what I'm saying is the integrity of it. The trainer and as I've said, and what made me laugh, Ivan's come out. It was an honest mistake. I'm happy to say we've apologised. It's not something anyone sets out to do. Well, this is the same trainer that put the water on the ball, the Watergate. So
he's got prize.
At the end of the day, well, you prize that up.
I watched that press conference. I don't think Ivan sort of had too much idea what he was going to say, sort of making it up as he was going along there, Ivan. He seemed a bit speechless, a bit stuttery. I don't know if you'd believe what he was saying in that presser. Is that fair?
Yeah, that is. But I like what Desi said. Desi he'll be breached. He apologised, didn't he? That's the only thing that's going to come out of it. Well, there should be
There'll
more
be no
come
consequences?
Well, there'll be a fine. They won't lose points, at the end of the day. And it really took the gloss off what was a great match because, as I said, the Titans got back into the match and then we saw this incredible, and I mean incredible, because the pass that hit Nathan Cleary for him to kick the 2-point field goal. He's kicked the 2-point field goal, Marty, 40 out, right? The pass would have been 15, 16 metres. From the dummy half, bang, threw it right back, and then he had to do the rest, and then Blake Salungi scores his second try in the 82nd minute to wrap up the win. But, all talk this morning is, Trainergate over here.
Yeah, Trainergate, okay.
All right, there we go. What about the Roosters and the Sea Eagles? Roosters winning big 20-4. Do you give either of those two clubs a chance of making the finals?
No.
No? Flat out?
No, and this game, as you said, 20-4, 12-4, half-time. We didn't see any points scored after the 50th minute, after the conversion in the 50th minute. So it was a dour struggle. We'll have a quick look at who I don't think. Now, the Sea Eagles were equal with the Dolphins before this round started on 24 points, and I know the Roosters now slip up there into that close scenario, but the big one was on Friday night with the Dolphins beating the Warriors. They now sit on 26 points. So it's a massive game for the Sharks today, but this Dolphins side, they're starting to dream, boys, about their first top 8 spot, because they've got the Roosters, then they've got the Broncos, Sea Eagles, Titans, Raiders. So out of that, I think they've got to win 3. And
they could just about win 3 there. Yeah, but let's talk about this. What happened here? The Raiders 12, St George get them at home 18.
Unbelievable. And we talked about the torrential rain in Sydney. My God, I have never seen a game at Wing Stadium in Wollongong when no one's on the hill. The wind, it was coming through, Marty, 60 k's an hour, just the wind. And I know both teams have got to play in it. And the Dragons, they adapted better. It was 10-all at half time. And you're watching the game and you're thinking, Kyle Flanagan's, a couple of penalty goals. You would have thought they'd go the 6, but no, he said, I'll take the 2. He ended up kicking 3 penalty goals, Kyle Flanagan. And that, at the end of the day, that's the difference. 18-12 the score, 2 tries apiece. That's the difference. So, yeah, the 9 in a row, it's been stung now, the Raiders. Sometimes you've got to have that loss, but, you know, we know how close the Dragons have been as well. Well, before this game, I think it was 7 points. 7 games they'd lost by 6 or less. So they got one back last night.
Now, looking ahead to today, Sal, the Bulldogs, they've been so impressive all year. They were big winners last weekend against the Manly Sea Eagles. Do you give West Tigers any chance, of course, in the upset? 370 tab touch for the Tigers. The Bulldogs 127 at the noon game, our time.
Yeah, well, Jerome Buller returns. Connor Tracy's out. Bulldogs have won 4 of their past 5 over the West Tigers. So all eyes will be on Lockie Galvin. He's just starting to gel into that Bulldog side. They were very good last week. That's a big win. But to say that, the Seagulls got beat again last night. So Tigers haven't been awful the last month. But, yeah, I think the Bulldogs, there's too much momentum now. They look like the side settled, boys. That's the key for me. And as I said, Lockie Galvin comes up against his old side. That'll be all eyes on that. But wet conditions, but I will go the Bulldogs.
Pretty important game for Cronulla today. They're $1.38 tab touch. The Cowboys at $3. Will the Sharks get it done?
I think so. Yeah, I think they can. They'd be happy they got away with last week. That was the thing. You know, they didn't win pretty, but they won over the Rabbitohs last week. And we know the Rabbitohs have been doing it pretty tough, mate. There's one side they got the wood on. This is you don't see stats like this very often unless it's a storm scenario. But the Sharks have won 13 of their last 15 v the Cowboys. And they met in round 2 up in Townsville. Sharks 36-12. So, yeah, I think it's important for their fans. The Cowboys, as Marty knows, I like watching them. We know they can score points. But I think Sharks have got too much at stake, Alex. So I'll be going for the Sharks.
All right, Sharks.
How's the bets look? How are we going to get $1 today, mate? Come on, let's go.
Well, we'll
Up
go
to the
Bronson Cherry to score any time for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Into Britton Nakora for the Sharks. So Cherry and Nakora for the Sharks. We'll get 6.37 for that. And I'll tell you what, we'll just go both sides at the line. Minus 10.5, the Bulldogs. The Sharks minus 8.5. We'll take that. Both of them, we'll get $3.70.
That'll do us, Sal. Now, you tune in to Port Headland Racing today. We'll text you through a couple of the hot tips from the track.
Can you please? I need some tips. Can you do that for me? I'm going to Crookwell today, so it'll be 9 degrees. I'm going to Crookwell. Yeah.
Better tell our listeners where Crookwell is.
No, I didn't wake up Crook. That's where I'm actually going. So, yeah, I'm going to call football between the Crookwell Green Devils and the Bungendore Tigers. There you go.
Wow. Who's going to win that?
1v2. Be a good game.
It's a big match.
Yes.
So, you're a beauty. You'll call it well, and we'll listen in again on Thursday morning with the New Look Sports Daily team.
Stay safe, boys.
Thanks, Sal.
James Sully Sullivan, time for a break from the Port Headland Turf Club.
Racing and sport from different angles. You're listening to the Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Yes, we're here at the Port Headland Turf Club, here for Tans, also for Goodline, and also the Port Headland Ford, who've been good enough to give us a pretty hot car for the last couple of days. Al, you've been driving it around. Give it a rating.
Fantastic Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
I believe. 10 out of 10. It's wonderful to drive. Not normally a ute man, unfortunately, because you wouldn't make use of it, but I've really enjoyed karting it around. The gentleman, what was his name? We met on Friday. Kerwin was very, very good. So if you need a car, want to buy a car, get down to Ford here at Port Headland, and great customer service. They'll find you a great car.
They'll look after you. Chris Nelson is over. Oh, now, Chris, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Marty. Good morning to you, Alex.
You know where this is going. You know where this is going. You didn't really need your ex-coach telling you to stick with the team and they're going to be great.
Is that Dimmer? Is that what Dimmer said?
Yeah. Oh, he's a
patronising, isn't it?
Oh.
Patronising is the only word I can think of. But I was actually watching that game yesterday thinking it was only a few years back that we played on the Gold Coast, and I think we beat them by about 12 or 13 goals, and Reebok kicked a bag, and our times have changed since then, but that's the cycle of AFL football for some teams, isn't it?
Because that certainly is. Now, because of that bad weather in Sydney, we're going to concentrate on Eagle Farm. So yesterday, our little posse here of Jeff, Alex and I found the Walkabout Hotel to watch every race in Australia and probably bet on everyone in Australia as well. So we really enjoyed Eagle Farm yesterday. And I've got to say, the amount of people who just back Angie Jones when she's got a ride in a race. She's a very popular jockey, Chris.
Yeah, she is. There's no doubt about that. And we all know she won the premiership. She made that official last Wednesday. But, she can ride. There's no doubt about that. And whether they're out the back, as we saw in the last race with Carril, or they're up the front, as we see in other races such as Give Giggles, she's very, very good. And, look, she'll take some beating in the premiership again. I know Nathan mentioned yesterday on our preview he thought Ben Thompson was a lock for the premiership, seeing he's back in town. And he did ride a winner yesterday, but I tell you what, Ange will be hard to beat once again.
I've got to tell you, funny things happen when you watch punters in betting on every race. Our man Jeff Miller, who did have more bets than anyone, let me tell you that. On Friday night, we're trying to work out if he would have more bets or drinks, but bets won easily. He was backing Ben Thompson on every ride he had, and he missed that one. He missed it.
No.
It was a double-figure job too, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Red Zeus was a double-figure job. And Ben rode rode second in the first race, second in the second race, third in the next race. So he wasn't far away.
No.
Well, it was a jockey challenge job, quite clearly. He was edged out in the first race by Galifianakis, who had the claim for Kobe Vittler. A bit of a veteran type now, 8 years of age he turned on Friday, but that was a nice win.
Well, it was, and the funny thing about this race, Alex, was that on paper, and this so often works out, on the map there was no speed. There was one leader being Just Flying, and Without Revenge was likely to do the trailing. But we often see that all the connections and the jockeys, etc., look at that map and they think, well, hang on a minute, I better go forward. Well, Without Revenge did go forward, and Just Flying did go forward, but Without Revenge over-raced and really ran along in front and set a very strong tempo in the end, which we didn't expect. So Galifianakis, who was 5 or 6 lengths away, was able to get home over the top of them. A good effort with the 60 kilos. I did think that Just Flying was very, very good because he chased Without Revenge all the way. He was headed in the straight and he rallied on well to be beaten a length on the line. So that's 2 good runs in a row for Just Flying. I'd say if the tempo had a little bit softer, he probably would have gone close to winning the race. So we will stick with him going forward out of that race.
Chris, race number 2 was the Fillies and Mares Class 6. The winner, Give Giggles, looks like it's going to win better races than this.
Yeah, well, it's a funny horse, Give Giggles. I spoke to Tony Gollan some time back, and he said that last preparation he got it all wrong with this filly/mare, and he was going to hope for a better preparation this time around. Well, she didn't have a lot of luck again early this preparation, but she's hit her straps now. They took her to the front 2 starts back, and she was able to win. And then last time out, she did a good job up on the speed, but she was again up on the speed yesterday, and she was always travelling for Andrew, had her in the right spot. Tempo did assist here. First 3 out were the first 3 home. So Lady Wardell led Give Giggles with the Sicilian sitting third, and they finished in a similar order. Ocean Czar made some ground, strips fitter for the run. I thought Remlapse Angel had every chance, but no reason Give Giggles can't win again, Marty, as you suggested.
Now, Chris, scooting ahead to race number 5, Tough to Miss. What's this horse's ceiling? Because that was, 7 in a line with that win yesterday?
Yep. 7 in a row, 7 from 9 altogether. They're going to spell him now, and they're going to set him for an 1,800-metre race at the Gold Coast during the Magic Millions Carnival. I thought it was interesting, the chat with David Van Dyke post-race. He said he's got some anxiety issues. He gets very nervous. He's only raced 9 times, but he's been to the track about 25 times. They often bring him there, put him in the stalls, and just take him home again. And they did that last Saturday. He just comes for the trip to try and help him get through his anxiety when he gets to the track. So it seems to be working. It's a real team effort. And you just love backing horses like him. He just keeps on winning. He just finds ways to win. He didn't beat any stars yesterday, but he got it done with the 60 kilos. So, good luck to him and all connections, and look forward to seeing him later in the year. Zaphod, second favourite. Tell you what, guys, he needs more give in the ground out of the stewards report. I think he needs a bit of heart to go with that give in the ground. So you can have him.
Yep. All right, Alpha Sophie, with a bit of interference in behind. We were on Angie Jones in this race, and she got squashed at about the 250-metre mark. But Alpha Sophie was pretty strong late, had a head full of steam up, and was pretty comprehensive for CJ Graham. What did you make of this race?
Well, I'm with you. I was with Spanish Treasure as well for Angela Jones. That check at about the 200-metre mark where Stick to the Script, who came second, laid right out. I don't think
you could see it coming, though, didn't you?
You could see it coming.
You could see it coming.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, ran right into it. I don't think it would have cost Spanish Treasure the race. Probably would have finished closer. Alpha Sophie, this is a good effort. I mean, she pulled. She didn't. Well, CJ Graham said post-race the plan wasn't to go forward and rush forward the way she did, but she had no choice. It was very messy, so she trucked up on the filly near the home turn, and she sustained that long run right to the line. Now, she will go south. She'll have a spell, and you'll see her in the south probably sometime in the spring. So looking forward to that, see if she can measure up.
What I liked about the rider CJ Graham here was she could have easily fallen into Ange Jones being the leading rider and let her come out and get that run, but she held her in. And once she held her in at that point of that crucial point of the race, it was game over for her, for Angela, and it was a really strong-willed ride, I thought. So, good luck to her.
Yeah, you're right. And she's a good jockey, CJ Graham. She's a very good jockey. So, Ange was outridden on that occasion.
Yeah, for sure. Race number 8, it was Golden Decade, Andrew May. Matty Dunn, geez, he trains the winners up there, doesn't he? Sneaks up there.
He does, and he trains a few highway winners too, as he did yesterday. But Golden Decade, big odds. The roughie of the field, look, had some good form previous preparations. Had gone off the boil a little bit, but burst through late. There was plenty of pressure up front. I wouldn't say there was a lot of speed up front, but there was pressure. We had Party for 2 sitting 3 wide. We had Hold On Honey on the fence and Mr. Galazi in the middle, and they all folded up down the straight. Metal Art didn't have the same dash. Probably had enough this prep. I don't think we'll see him again. Steady, ready, normal, sort of honest race. But all honours with the winner, who had the last crack at them and came clear to win by a good margin.
Now, Pirelli, really intriguing galloper in the last. Part of course, that Godolphin Fire Sail went up north. Now with Tony Golan, Ange Jones had this horse back near last, was able to find gaps, though, and that was an ultra-impressive first showing in Queensland.
It was, because they didn't run along here. The pace was pretty soft, to be honest. They ran home 34.26, went out in something like 36 and change. So the tempo was there for the on-paces, such as Taltani Fields and Hawker Hall. They did run second and third, but Pirelli was too good for them back in the field. Just travelled beautifully, and when Ange put her through the gap between some of those horses about 2 lengths away in the straight, he was always going to run them down. So whether he can keep it going in Queensland, because he is a bit of an enigma, and I did note he didn't pull away late. Taltani Fields was coming again. So we'll see what he does. But I think they've got races Magic Millions summertime in store for him, Pirelli.
I reckon Golan's record at getting horses off very good trainers and winning races with them up there is second to none. You go back and check it out, and I can name some of the trainers, but I won't. But I've watched this very closely. He gets them off the best trainers and improves them.
He does. He's probably helps that it's a bit easier up here as well, Marty, but he does. He does improve them. We've seen horses such as Zarastro is a perfect example. I mean, the amount of races he's won up here and the amount of money he's won is phenomenal. So, yeah, but look, you won't find a more focused trainer. He knows everything about every horse he's got, where they're going months and months and months ahead. So, yeah, he does all the work and he gets the results. So good luck to Tony.
Horses to follow?
Just Flying out of the first can get away with a race. Alpha Sophie, when we see her again down south, she may measure up. And I will say Pirelli out of the last, but we'll just be cautious what sort of price we get in coming races.
Okay, very quickly, not much out of Rose Hill. Pretty disappointing day there with that many scratchings in the weather.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row we've had terrible weather in Sydney. Look, Amusing was impressive in the first. I thought Amusing, who I got last start at a good price, was not a wet tracker. I thought the dry track was the key. Ploughed through the heavy yesterday, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. Without Parallel, very good in the third race. Probably a Kosciuszko, and Headley Grange continued on his good form, his prep. So they were probably the better 3 efforts out of the day.
Any Sunshine Coast today?
Yeah, Sunny Coast today, 9 metre rail, so you want to be up near the fence somewhere and on speed. Statement of Truth, race 3, number 4. Race 4, number 1, Podium Star. First starter, I don't know what price we'll get. When I last checked, there were no prices. Won a trial by 12.5 lengths recently. And race 6, number 1, Nagami. So 3, 4, 4, 1 and 6, 1.
Best of them?
Podium star. I think he'd be too good, but I think the trial's good enough to be a debut winner.
Okay, Chris, thanks for that. We'll listen in during the week.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Alex. Cheers, guys.
Chris Nelson there. It was bizarre yesterday, some of those races at Rose Hill. Race 9, $160,000, 4 horses.
4 runners, yeah.
There was fifth prize money of over $5,000. No one turned up.
Yeah, the car park attendant gets that. Let's catch up with Racetrack Ralphy next.
Racing and sport from different angles. You're listening to the Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Yes, Racetrack Ralphy from racetrackralphy.com joins us. A very good morning, sir.
Good morning, boys. Yeah, we're always like Punxsutawney Phil. The first little bit of spring is the Ori Star, and we got a very, very well presented track to go with our pretty good weather we're having at the moment. Even though it's cold, it's cloudless, no wind, and the best horses and best riders won.
Only, about 3 weeks away, is it, the Memsey, which I reckon signals the start of spring. It comes up so quickly. Let's start on the feature, Ralphie, if we can. As we say, a very good morning to you. The Ori's Star, the Group 3, I thought the winner here, King of Rousseau, was very, very impressive late and continues his fantastic form for Peter Snowden.
Yeah, spot on, Alex. Good morning to you. This is part of the fascinating part of the Cape, I reckon, because you had a known in that King of Rousseau was producing really big, strong overall figures in Sydney. I think he started the season started the year gelded. He'd always shown a bit of promise as a 2-year-old, whereas Splashback had come through very slow time races, but with an amazing powerhouse finish. So you couldn't say that she couldn't do it, but at the moment, she hadn't done it, and yesterday she didn't do it, whereas King of Rousseau just kept his form on going. So it'll be really interesting what they do with Splashback. She's clearly a talent, and whether she just needs 1,400 and a race of a bit of tempo to bring her into it, time will tell. But she was thrown into the deep end, and yesterday she didn't produce. Not a type of stable, I'd say, that couldn't get them to fire there, Marty. But yeah, King of Rousseau just in the zone. Bandy's boy ran to his absolute best. Ditto Marble 9. I think Miss Aria, Danny O'Brien's clearly got this horse happy and healthy again because she's best at 1,400. So a mare's 1,400 for her. I think she's in for a successful spring.
So have you looked at Vince Accardi's ratings yet on this race?
No, they haven't come through yet, unfortunately. No. So I would suspect that King of Rousseau's just ran to his number 109.1 on a good track. That's pretty much bang in the zone for him. So I think that's pretty much him running to his best, and the others. A horse like Splashback, like I said, just not taking that next step yesterday.
Yeah, okay. I just noted that we were watching all the races together. A few horses got back into that position in the straight races where Splashback was and sort of didn't really finish off too powerfully. So I'd love to get all of those ratings and see what they say.
Well, that's probably track preparation as well, and it's the opposite of it's how Liam doesn't like him hard up against the outside fence because it's dangerous, as in Liam Marquette, the track curator. So I reckon that probably adds up to it as well.
Okay, first event, Ben Mellon, Chris Waller combined with Crossbow.
Yeah, so I mean, it pretty much an easy, orderly run race. Our chief was disappointing as from that Geelong win leading in, and our Exit was the favourite and didn't run on. Tempo was against it. I think it's got a fair bit of talent, Exit, but Crossbow had finished with the best 200 of the day in Sydney at its previous start, and actually the best 400 and 200 at the midweek. So there was nothing wrong with his form coming down, and it's got a bit of talent too.
Bold Soul's got a bit of talent as well. Patrick and Michelle's Payne stable are flying, and Bold Soul winning again after winning back at Flemington in late June, and he was very impressive. Casino 17, the ex-West Aussie, just peaking late.
Yeah, so he was not well ridden at his previous start, Bold Soul. They were obsessed with getting cover, and he actually just conceded an impossible start to the on paces there. And yesterday, he just got the absolute perfect Mickey D ride. He was prepared to sort of cover a bit of ground early until he managed to slot in, and that kept him within touch of the leaders. The others are sort of, they've all been racing against each other a bit. I think Arcadan is now ready, but he was only beaten a length, and they've obviously taken a long time to get him race fit. He missed 650 days racing prior to starting here, so he's probably ready to find the right race. Whether any of these can take the next step, I don't know. I'm intrigued with what Post Impressionists can do. That first Australian run, it was just phenomenal. They asked him to back up in the Tancred, and he didn't back up well, and then he's since been with Team Friedman. But for them to kick him off at 2,530 metres in August, let's just see what he does in 6 weeks, because he's clearly the best talent in this race.
Now, Ralphie, when you walk into a pub tab and you look up and you haven't done any form, you look up and you see the Penguin being interviewed pre-race, what do? You just go straight, oh, there it is, the Bergerac. Okay, let's back this. What a ride, Tommy Preble. Wasn't it a good ride?
It was a super ride. I can't help thinking that they're running him at Flemington because that's where the ratings races are, but he'll be even better around the bend because he's got tactical speed. I reckon he sort of floated a bit. He was left in front a long way out too, and Kappa 39 goes well up the straight. There was nearly a big odds plonk on this. I reckon he was 26s on the Friday. On the day he was 19s in the 16. So he'll probably find a race on Turnbull Day and Mackay Day, a ratings type race. But he's a beauty to Bergerac, and as you said, so's the trainer. He's too smart for me.
Lose some, win more down the straight in the Jockey Celebration Day sprint. How much scope has this gelding got? One now, 6 from 12?
Yeah, well, he's a winner, that's for sure. And when you win 2 races in a row, blind nose, it's going to give you a bit of a tick there. Call to Glory, Jordan Weatherly, he's a beauty on pace runners. My apologies. Just puts him in the race. And Tommy Dabernig, I've heard him say that he prefers doing that, in the Western Districts, just since he's moved down there. He likes them on pace and see if they can hang on, and that's what it nearly did yesterday. And the race 8 was in its favour. Against it was a couple back in the field there. Documentaries pulled up sore, so it was a forgive run, but there you go. It was probably didn't have its first start until 6 for a reason.
Yeah. And then into race number 5, and well, everyone was on Federer. It sort of didn't have the best passage, but Vega Magnifico gets the money.
Yeah, well, what a great example of momentum versus cover, and that's zero criticism of Blake, of course. But he just the gate never opened for him, so I think Federer should have won. But Vega Magnifico, it was a silly price because there was nothing wrong with his lead-in run, and this Archibald stable have really got the 2-state operation working well. I think Macy's a horse you want to follow, and Aztec State. Caulfield Rail True or Moonee Valley Rail True, it'll be winning a race. It was just an impossible setup yesterday for him.
Okay, race number 6, Ralphie, Zoo Sensation, rated beautifully out in front by Jamie Mellum. Probably needed that perfect ride, didn't win by a big space at the end.
Yeah, I think he's pretty keen. I've heard, as in the races, keenly, and I heard Troy Corson say that pre-race. So there was no chance for it to get cover. So what does the best jockeys do? What do the best jockeys do? They find out, and it just hung on. But I reckon it might have been a space job if it managed to have a race shape where it could have got second line, because he's just absolutely in the zone. Good return of form from running by. Fortunate Kiss ditto. All the second, third, and fourth all drawn low. Cafe Millennium. Is it ready to win a race? It just needs a mile and probably, again, a Rail True at Caulfield and Moonee Valley where they can blend into the race. It'll be winning for sure.
On to race number 8 after we've already done the Ori's 2 darn discreet wins here for Declan Bates at big odds.
Well, a bit like Federer, far flung was the coma job from the inside, and no criticism. There was just no chance of getting a run. They spaced the rest, 2 darn discreet, and that was a silly price as well because it was first up in a very fast Caulfield race. It just needed that to build, and it can win again. So I think 2 darn discreet's one of the winners you can follow because they'll find a sort of a mare's race for it, and I think it'll probably win again.
I thought Stylish was going to be a coma job there for a while, and Blake Shim was going to round out a pretty average day, but found the gap eventually, and I tell you what, accelerated through nicely.
Oh, my Godfather, what a ride. So the first 400 metres, they had wide draw, 60 kilos, and there's Blake 1-1 after 400 metres. It just, as you said, it was nearly going to be unlucky if the gate didn't open, but, a bit like a golf tournament. You can lose it at the start, or you can give yourself a chance of winning it. It was just such a good ride. And I think she's going to win again because those other horses that were in the finish were all super wide lane advantage and race shape advantage. So even though she just got there from Terra Star, who's going well, I think she's the one I want to be on next start for sure. But horses to follow, Maisie, I think it's ready to win, and Cafe Millennium and Aztec State. And if you can get a day where they can blend into it, both of those are going to win and win at odds.
Beautifully done, Racetrack Ralphy. Find all your good work, racetrackralphy.com.au. Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again next week.
Good on you, boys.
Thanks, Ralphie.
Okay, counting down to the news at 7 o'clock. It has dawned. A beautiful day here at Port Headland. It is magnificent. 21. They're looking about, 25?
27.
27
Perfect conditions.
Today. It's going to be a massive crowd. It's almost, if you haven't got a ticket, you may not get in at the moment. So everyone wants to be here today. Well done to Troy Morrissey and all the team for all the hard work they've put in to make sure this is a big race day. And don't forget, racing on the goldfields as well.
Racing and sport from different angles. You're listening to the Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Here's the weather, so. Okay, welcome back. We're up here in beautiful Port Headland. It's about 22 degrees, a little wafting sou'wester just coming across the track at the moment. Al, and what about up in Perth? We've been following the radar there. They are getting smashed to the Scheisenhausen at the moment.
Of course, Soph producing from the studio back in Perth, the show today. She said the studio is dead set rattling. There is thunder rattling the studio. It is pouring down. We've looked at the radar, and it is red. You don't often get red.
No.
You know, when you've got the scale, the red, the yellow, the blue, the green, it is red. So I hope you're staying warm and dry down there in Perth because...
this weather update on the Aftermath is brought to you by Tab Touch.
So if you had enough of that, let's have a look at the weather. Broome 31, wind easing. Karratha 27 and sunny. Port Headland, as we said, 27 today, cloud clearing. Carnarvon 23. Geraldton 19 showers. Northam 14 showers. And Kalgoorlie for their meeting today, 17 showers, but doesn't seem like there'll be too much rain there at Cal today for the meeting. Out in the Goldfields, Mandurah 16 possible storm, Pinjarra 15 possible storm, Bunbury 16 possible storm, and then Albany 13 showers, Esperance 17 shower or two, and Perth showers 17 and a possible severe storm, which I think they might be experiencing now.
On the Aftermath, it's time to introduce the 1985 Brownlow medalist from the Footscray Football Club, Brad Hardie. Introducing the boy from Hilton, the AFL guru, Brad Hardie.
Very good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Little Russian Greek, and good morning, Marty. Don't worry about the weather in Perth. What about the Derby yesterday, Marty? Unbelievable. Moss Street Ferries. It must be affecting the phones. I can't reach anybody. I can't find Graham Wood. I can't find Tony Bahaja. I can't find Jimmy Sewell or Brian Peake. What is going on? Where are you? Are they all okay? Have they drowned? Have they, the Sharks?
And we let them kick the last 6 just to make it feel good as well.
Yeah.
Normal
behaviour.
Respectability.
Now, fine and sunny in Fremantle today. Don't worry about that.
Bradley, I think it was about a month ago, you said we've just seen the new flag favourites. Gee, they were good last night, Brisbane.
Yeah, we got the right price, Marty. That's for sure. So, Alex, they love a challenge. They love a whiff of the MCG. 80-odd thousand there last night, Marty, and coming off a pretty flat one. And mind you, they hadn't lost since round 14 prior to that, so you're allowed to have a mulligan somewhere along the line. And, they really put it to Collingwood last night, and Collingwood unfortunately had no answers. And we'd been sort of questioning, Marty, the mismatch or the patchwork quilt stuff that McRae had been not mucking around with, Alex, but he'd certainly been in and out and managing, and I get all that, but... at this, coming into August, you've got to be playing your best footy, particularly when you're not guaranteed. It wasn't that long ago, Marty, that I reckon the Pies were 2.5, maybe even 3.5 games clear of everyone else and looked like they were going to be rusted onto a 1-2 spot. Now they're in grave danger of missing that.
There's a few texts coming through, Punts. We'll read those out in a moment. But the Brisbane Lions, the midfield is what really took me last night, Brad. McLuggage, 34, Dunkley, 31, Neal, 36, Ashcroft, 30. It's not just the numbers, though. They all run both ways. They're hard at the contest, and they can do it on the outside as well. Have they got the most formidable two-way midfield heading into the finals? When you look at the main chances, your Geelongs, your Adelaides, your Collingwoods, your Gold Coasts, is that Brisbane midfield above all else?
Yeah, look, they've got to be certainly in the equation. I mean, you go back to that magnificent team in 1, 2, 3, Alex, and narrowly lost in 4. they've got that going. They bat pretty deep, but again, Marty, our little guy, Jack Bailey came through, Grainer came through after half time. They've got stars on every line, Alex. Harris Andrews was magnificent last night. But from my point of view, the best one's Dunkley by far.
Yeah.
He is incredible, Alex. He's, he covers for everyone else, so he allows Lockie Neal and McCluggage and the Ashcroft boys and a few of those to get off the chain going forward. And the one thing about Craig McRae, and he's a little bit similar to Sam Mitchell, he won't go with players. He doesn't have He doesn't have one. And you cannot I know you can't blanket them all, but you've got to address the situation. Whichever the red light's going off in a quarter, unfortunately, you've got to be able to manoeuvre some parts around to try and at least negate a little bit the influence. And Lockie Neal, McCluggage in particular, so good below the knees, Marty, and that's where they win a lot of, and that's the big stat in footy these days, ground ball gets. Yeah,
that is true. Collingwood have got the problem down back, and it's because missing players. So they've got to get Howe, and they've got to get Billy Frampton back in that team, because he could not hide Charlie Dean last night. He couldn't hide it. I'm not having a crack at the kid. He's learned his way, but I've been critical of him all year. He's a long way off, and when you get against good forwards like he was against last night, I think there was about 5 or 6 goals kicked on him when they were moving him around, trying that forward to kick a goal. Then back onto that forward to kick a goal.
More as well. More needs
a star on the rise,
so he can get a bit loose. He got powered up by Morris.
But a lot of times Moore wasn't on Morris when Morris kicked the goals, mate.
No, he wasn't for a few.
I reckon one.
Yeah.
I reckon one.
But a boot-up player always worries ball. We've said that all along, Marty.
Yeah.
And you need that someone who's prepared to anchor down on one of the key forwards to.
But he's trying to do everything.
Keep them. But he has this nuance where he swings around and he dances and he gets caught on the back foot. He's going backwards and the forward's going forward. We saw that with Voss a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned that. So, but you're right. I mean, he really does require that shotgun rider who can sit on his man, so he can be third man up in a contest like Lever does at Melbourne when him and May and a few others play.
Okay, Brad. So Markov's not in their best 23, and he played last night as well. I'm just trying to work out how Collingwood, if they play Brisbane again, can they turn this around? But where's Houston in the whole scheme of things? Because here's another one: is just you can't hide him.
Sadly out of form. It just hasn't worked out and hasn't gelled for them in that regard. I mean, he was the go-to player when he was playing at Port Adelaide, boys. And what's happening now is they're now using Dacos, the Josh variety. Sometimes Nick. They go down there, and you get to a stage where he's just not the guy they're going to. He's not bouncing off half-back flank. He's really worried, and they're punishing him on the way back as well because he's not a great defender. He was an attacking, rebounding player, and it's really, really hurting them at the moment. So, they've got a question to ask going forward. And they've also got, Perryman's a little bit out of sorts. Quaynor has been better, but often finds himself fighting out of his weight. They've got to try and get that balance right because it's missing at the moment.
It's an interesting situation because they paid big for Houston.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have the Dacoses back there, it's an interesting scenario. Why did you pay so highly for him if you're going to have the Dacoses back there playing that rebounding
and Maynard,
role?
Maynard's a beauty. He's sort of he often again they're the ones. Maynard, Quaynor in particular are fighting out of their weight. Often you see the ball coming in quick and you see how did that matchup come up? You got a 6'5" bloke on a Collingwood 6-footer or a 6-1er. It's just remarkable. But as you say, Alex, so they're not controlling the football through the midfield. They're so reliant on Nick Dacos, and if you can, and it was a team defence last night. It wasn't a one guy sort of act. They came at him from every angle. So, and he's not used to that because he's he's got pace off the mark. He's got tricks. He's got a step. He's got all of that. And we know that, but if you close him from every angle, it's very hard when you're working in a phone box all of the time.
When the game was on the line the last quarter last night, Marty, Dacos 3 handballs.
Yeah, coaching masterclass. I thought after half-time from Fags and his team, He mentioned Cameron Bruce. He gave him the credit for the midfield operation there last night. So take it back to Friday night. This was another high-quality game. Hawthorn just could not, in the end, run with Adelaide. If you have a look at the running stats in this game, Brad, they are a machine when it comes to that hard-running, gut-running, sprint, repeat sprints. It was a close game statistically, but I think Adelaide just used the ball better when it was their turn.
Yeah, I said to the boys on Thursday I thought it was a venue game, and I was with Adelaide on it, and I wasn't looking too good at quarter time, I must admit. But what didn't work, as we suggested it may not, was the 4 talls, and they couldn't have them on the park altogether. Kel Shadir had his worst game since he's come back. He couldn't get near it. Mitch Lewis couldn't really get near it. Mabior Chol, just the 1 goal. They were too tall. They were too tall, Marty. And they paid the penalty for that. And once the ball hit the deck, Rankin, you got to be with him the whole time, the full 110 minutes. You cannot just leave him for 1 second because he's the X factor for this footy club. And then you got the old timer in Tex Walker, all of a sudden bought in the last quarter and really settled them to get them over the line. But you're right. But again, if you flip the script there, Alex, I'm not saying Adelaide can't play at the MCG. If that game had been at the MCG, I think Hawthorn probably get away with it. If there were 6 goals in front of the MCG, they probably don't get run down. But when you got your comfy slippers on at the Adelaide Oval and it was well coached. We saw that at quarter time. He didn't panic, just calmed them all down and said, well, listen, boys, hang on. That was at a bit of an out-of-sorts quarter. But as we always say, Marty, around about the 5-goal mark you can manage, Alex. Once it gets north of that, you're in a bit of trouble. And they found a way back into it. And the Adelaide Crows now set themselves up for a 1-2 finish, particularly over the next couple of weeks.
Well, they're flying. They've got a good run home as well. But I tell you who would have been smiling like a Cheshire cat after Friday night, Brad, is Luke Bambridge and probably all of the Bulldog supporters because Hawthorn now only 1 game ahead of the Dogs. They've got an inferior percentage. They've got Collingwood, Melbourne, Brisbane to come as opposed to the Bulldogs who have Melbourne, West Coast and Freo. So they should at least get the 2 of the 3 done. And the big one there is Will Day gone for the season.
Oh, it's shocking. He's such an important player. His first quarter was amazing, and he was the one who really lit them up, and that's why they were in so far in front. And what a shocking run of luck he's had, and there's nothing worse for a footballer too, Marty, and it's when it's the feet area. You can't play football if you can't run and you can't stand up, and it's really, it's his tools. And it was very, very disappointing because he's such a class. And you want to beat them. You want to beat any team when they're at their best, Alex, with all their best players on the park. And we haven't any excuses. That goes for everybody. So it's a really, really bad loss for Hawthorn and really unlucky for Will Day. But hopefully he'll be back bigger and better in 2026.
So how big is this match? I think it's Thursday night, isn't it? Thursday or Friday between Collingwood.
Quick turnaround for both teams. Yeah.
For Hawthorn, this is their game because I don't think they can beat Brisbane away.
Hawthorn are cooked. I don't think Will Day is by far and away their bet. They're cooked.
Fork them?
Even if they make it, they're not going to progress. I don't think they'll make it.
So what about this game coming up? Can they beat Collingwood?
No, I think Collingwood will bounce back.
There you go.
Jeremy Howe will come back. I think Tom Mitchell comes in for Ned Long.
I don't know what the market will be. I'm sure it'll be pretty tight. I think, they're look, I think everybody says their best is good enough, so it's just going to be who's at their best. Now, Collingwood, what have they lost, Marty? 3 out of their last 4 or 4?
Yep.
What is it? Something like that.
They've only lost one of their last 2, according to their coach. One of their last 2.
Yeah, I think I think they're not in raging hot form, and again, and I say they're not settled. And unfortunately, now with the day going out for Hawthorn, they're probably not settled. But they've got to go back and get that formula right of how they want to set up their front 6. It's so important, as we saw Adelaide. That's where Adelaide really commanded things, Alex, after. To win the game, after quarter time. And as you say, how good's Jordan Dawson? And he's just a ripper. He's just accelerating by the minute in regards, he's such a stylish left footer too, and he kicks important goals. And we talk about that all the time. It's one thing to get, your 25s and your 30s, but if you don't hit the scoreboard off your own boot, it's okay to assist, but when him and Rankin get going and they're both getting the ball through the midfield and finishing, it makes them an awesome team. But I'm really looking forward to Thursday night. We'll have to see how they come up at the selection table because Big headache for Collingwood. They've got to work it out and work it out fast.
Hey, Brad, when you watch the other games, and we just kept an eye on Melbourne West Coast, and I've watched a bit of Sydney, Essendon, and didn't even watch any of Richmond Gold Coast. It bears to light the fact that when these teams are out of the run for the 8, it's just no bruise footy. It just doesn't mean anything. I was watching that
100%.
Bruise-free footy. Yeah, it was just even Sydney now that the hope of playing in the final eight's gone out of there. Against Essendon yesterday, they weren't interested.
Has it always been like this?
I don't know.
There's that many horrible
That's a good
teams
question,
and
Alex,
games.
and that's a great question for Brad. Has it always been like this, Brad?
Yeah, I think so. And because what happens is, I call it the self-preservation switch. You've heard me use that many times, Marty. Yep. It's just when it kicks in. That's the key. If you're going well and you're sort of close on the scoreboard, Alex, you might go, deep into the third quarter, maybe even into the last. But if you're out the fight at half time, just good luck. I mean, open up the floodgates and away we go. And that was the Gold Coast and Richmond. They just weren't even in the hunt, Richmond. So they'd put the queue in the rack pretty much. West Coast had a crack. I was receiving a lot of text messages along the way through the system at work. I was being too harsh on them. But I could see it unfolding before my eyes. We've seen enough football, boys, that you know what's coming. And the tsunami was coming. And it wasn't a GWS tsunami. It was a Melbourne tsunami. And they're no good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They're where they are because that's how good they are. And Max Gawn's a star. The problem I've got with, and I've given him a few mulligans this year, Alex, as you know, Marty, with McQualter, mate. I don't know. I don't know what their brand of footy is. I don't know what their style of footy is. They've talked it up. They were, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's going to be ball movement. It's going to be quick. It's going to be Richmond-like, back in the halcyon days without the players. But two things. One, they're not fit enough. We keep saying it. And two, they don't have the skill. How does that happen in round 21 where your skills are no better in round 21 when they were in round 0 or round 1? It's ridiculous. They've got to go. They've got three things now. We can all come up with the criticism. We all identify the problem. They've got to fix it. They've got to fix it this week. I wouldn't even worry about the extra running, gut running, and all that crap. Just see if you can hit a target, mate, with a handball and a kick. That'd be nice. That'd be good at training for the next month. And then when we go to trade and draft, we've got to get really aggressive. Take no prisoners. Brutal. You've got to get involved and cut and cull and trade and do your darndest to get better players in. And I'll give you three they should be chasing right now. Cheese on the market, Starcevich is on the market because Brisbane can't keep them all. Yep. And Darcy Cameron will be. How long's I been saying that, Marty?
Yeah. Oh,
put those three players back in with Jack Graham, who's currently suspended. Harley Reid, well, work out what you're doing with him. Whether he's staying or he's going. I think he's going. So get the best deal you possibly can. Get him in the door. And that looks better already. That makes you look 10, 15, 20% better. And that's not enough, but it's going to be a help. You know what I mean? And then on November 1, boys, everybody that's training here, we are going to have the preseason of all preseasons when it comes to getting fit. Because we're not. We're waffle level playing in the AFL, and that's why they get smashed so often.
Well, Brad Snoz has asked, and he's run through a number of clubs that have got a lot of players out of contract at the end of the season. Pretty much every club has double-figure amount of players out of contract at the end of the season. Would you be chasing 4 or 5 players, decent players that can come in and play a role, or would you be paying someone like Harley Reid near on $2 million a year to keep him?
4 or 5. I'm you know where I stand. I mean, look, I nearly crashed my car the other day when I don't know. I only saw the headline when, and I love Blue McKenna, and he suggested that Harley was better than Judd. Like, spirit, they're not in the same zip code, mate. And other suggestions that Ruben Jinby should be captain. He's a good young bloke, but seriously, I mean, come on. Let's not make it about us. Who's saying it? Let's be positive in regards to how you're going to fix it. There's no doubt, and I talk about it all the time. You got to have the glue. Now the young blokes coming through who are doing their darndest and trying to improve, whether it's Hoff or Edwards or whoever it may be, they can't operate without the glue, and they've got no glue. They've got no leadership. Their leaders are shocking. Liam Baker, again, his usage of Liam Baker yesterday just had me confounded. I thought, well, here's Salem, a sheepdog, running around the outside, running around the back, just 30 disposals, setting it up. And I said, where's Baker? Or sometimes he's forward, sometimes he's all over the shop. So they need help, and they need really, really good help. So to answer your question, Alex, go and get those 4 or 5 players you need and put them in there and at least give the kids something to stick on to.
A couple of other texts coming through. I'll just read them out. This is Lisa from Ellenbrook, a bit of a longer one. Morning, boys. McQualter needs to find out which players are willing to do the hard work to build this team back up to AFL standards. There is a long way to go, and I don't think draft assistance will be enough. There were signs in the first half, but the second half showed how far this team is off it. Even when they get the ball into their front half, they refuse to lock it in. They had only 2 tackles compared to 22 from Melbourne. They lost the contested possessions by 42, 8 less contested marks, 9 less tackles. There's no excuse for players not being able to show more intent to defend and put pressure on the opposition. They were insipid. Brad, I can't see any benefit in paying Harley Reid $20 million. That money could be better spent in getting experienced players like a Darcy Cameron and others back to WA. So you have spoken a bit about that already, but Lisa, reiterating your thoughts.
The one part I do like in Lisa's SMS is the set plays, Alex. You talk about that. Match simulation. We talk about this all the time. There's no match simulation. The game day is when you put it to the test. Yeah. But I was calling it yesterday, the game, and I said, look, right, the ball's in the forward 25 for West Coast, or somewhere around the goal face. Repeat, rinse and repeat. Make it hard. Make it hard for Melbourne to remove the ball from that area. No. One, bang, out it comes. I'm thinking, hang on. You got 2 arms, 2 legs. You are allowed to compete, and you block up. You get 1 man each. You block up every angle you think they can get out, and you go to work, and you frustrate them. They might make a mistake, and cough up a handball, and all of a sudden you kick a goal. But no, not West Coast. They don't do that. And down the other end of the ground, how soft the goals were for Melbourne throughout the afternoon. Langford and a few of these blokes just standing 7 metres off from the stoppage by themselves. What is going on? I mean, you don't have to have talent to stand on a man, and make it harder for them. But yeah, it's frightening, Alex. And I don't know how West Coast Eagles do it. Supporters, I mean, that was another 83-point flogging. Let's face it, against a very average conveyance in Melbourne.
Before we get your Sunday saviour, a quick word on this Fremantle Dockers Carlton game today. What do we want to see from the Dockers apart from a very important win?
We might have to wear their Wellington boots by the sound of it.
that's.
Oh yeah, they just have to win. They just have to win. Look, there's no Curnow. There's no real threat. From Carlton. The only threat to Fremantle is Fremantle, as we always say, Marty. If they don't show up, they just think they're going to come along and, or Carlton are going no good and, everybody wants to leave and all this sort of stuff. They'll have themselves in trouble. But in wet weather football, it's a different game. And I think the skill level of Fremantle should win out because your skill level actually gets better in wet conditions, believe it or not, because your technique's better. So, they should be winning that, Marty, but good luck. I'll be sort of playing maybe unders and overs in the total scoreline because it looks like it's going to be hard to score by the sound of it.
Sunday saviour.
Yes, we're going to beautiful day here. It's fine and 18. Beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. Cool. Going to Sandown Race 2, number 1, Alex. Charcoals. That's $2.60. Then we'll go up to the Sunny Coast Race 4, number 1. Big raps on this, Marty. Podium Star, put in, take out at $1.40. Launceston Race 5, number 2. Press for Boom, $2.30. And we'll come home for Forbes Race 7, number 3, High Dandy in the Forbes Cup at $1.80. So Sandown 2-1, Sunny Coast 4-1, Launceston 5-2, Forbes 7-3. You roll them together, that's $15 for me and Ginger today.
Well done, Brad. And, of course, for Loans 1, 2, 3 and Retrovision, there's a store near you. Thanks for that. Make sure you tune in. It's Port Headland Cup Day today. We've got winners galore.
Racing and sport from different angles. You're listening to The Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
The locals now. It's a beautiful day here in Port Headland. Alex Vlahos, Marty Young, Jeff Miller, we're all up here, and Tim Pike joins us. G'day, Tim.
Good morning. How are we?
Very well, yourself.
Yeah, real good. Good this morning. Beautiful day.
How's the season been for you so far, mate? Second season training, second season up in Headland?
Probably my best season yet. Just a few more to go so far, but yeah, been really humble this year and just thankful for all the support that I've had. And to mum, dad, sisters. Yeah, it's been a good ride so far.
How much support do you have up here? What's the day-to-day workings? Yourself, you're up here, obviously your dad's up here, your partner's up here. How much do you ride? How much other support do you have down at the stable?
I ride all mine, and then I have to go down and help dad out. I ride a few for him, make sure he's going all right.
He doesn't ride anymore?
Nah, he's just getting a bit too worn out, unfortunately. He'd love to.
Yeah.
I want to leg him up. I just don't know if Mum will let me throw him on.
So do you have anyone else down there working at the stable, yourself and your dad?
It's just pretty much me, Rebecca, and then Nikki and Colin help out when they can. Colin rides a lot for Dad as well. So
Colin being Colin Haddon?
Yeah, Colin Haddon, yeah. So every time we need a bit of help, everyone's all willing to put in and help each other out. It's good.
Yep. I'd never met Colin before. Spoke to him a couple of times on the radio, and what you see is what you get with him, isn't it?
He's a good bloke.
A real likeable character.
Yeah, he's really good. Always good to have around. Like I say, he's always willing to ride anyone's horses they ever ask him. He'll probably go ride them. So
is that like most of these regional areas you go to in horse racing? It's always a bit of a problem getting people to ride your horses in work.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably the biggest struggle you have up here.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, me, I'd love to ride for other people as well, but I just can't afford that if like something happens and I hurt myself.
Yeah.
It just sets me back so far.
So what's the answer to? Is there an answer, a holistic answer to that in the industry? It's not just here. It'll be Kalgoorlie. It'll be down south. It'll be everywhere.
I'm not really.
It's a hard one to solve, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you can do about it, but it'd be nice if we could get some of the apprentices just to come up here and work for some of us. But obviously they have the big trainers down home that they ride for. But it'd be nice just to get a couple apprentices that can learn the way up here first as well. I don't know, might be
Base
something.
themselves up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your history, Tim? Have you, obviously growing up, your dad was a star jockey, so you grew up with racing in the family, but did you always want to follow a path in racing? Have you always been involved in the horses growing up, and since you've been an adult, have you always been a horse trainer at the stables, or have you explored other paths and then come back to racing?
When I was younger, I was always around horses and stuff like that. Did pony club when I was little, and then just lost the interest in it. I'd rather go play football, cricket, and go out, have fun with mates, and the horses were just a second really option for me. And then it was mainly when I went back to Darwin for the second time, and I started working for Gary Clark. I kind of got like a little spark back.
Yeah.
Just watching how he does all his work, and then Dad was coming up here and he needed a hand, so that's when I thought I'd come back. So I did a year with him, but I had probably like 8 of my own horses that I owned, and he was training. So I did a lot of work with pretty much my own horses and stuff like that. And then after that, that's when I decided I might as well give it a crack myself and see how we go.
So without getting ahead of the game, and we'll have a look at your runners soon, after Port Headland, what's the racing diary look for you and your team?
I'll probably go back home. And
home is?
What's that?
Where's home?
Back to Pinjarra or Cool Up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll go back home. I might have maybe a month off or something like that. I'll put a few out in the paddock. I probably only want to keep a couple. I just want to bring the team back down to 2 or 3 maybe like that. And then I wouldn't mind trying to race at Albany and Geraldton. I really want to give that a crack.
Mm-hmm.
I find it's not much stronger than, like you say, the Broome and stuff like that. So I really want to see how I can go there. And if I can find a few better horses, I wouldn't mind staying in town as well and giving it a crack.
I've got my bets for today, or my tips for today, written down on my page here, and Tim noticed it, and my best is race 5, number 1, Border Control. Are you in agreement with me there, Tim? Can I have some confidence? That we were at the walkabout yesterday, and your partner said, we're taking this horse to the Hannons after we go to Broome next start. So there's a bit of confidence in the camp about this horse.
She must be more confident than me. No, I'm pretty confident in the horse. He's going really well, so I think the way he's going and the barrier he's drawn, it will just suit him perfect today. Barrier 3 is absolutely ideal for him. He can just sit back a little bit. Last week he just got caught like in behind him and just was getting blasted with sand. He just didn't really like it, didn't really travel. So barrier 3 can sit out just a little bit, and I reckon he might be a bit too hard to beat.
So you try and maybe stay off the inside this time?
Yeah, I'll probably sit 1 or 2 off the fence. He should be able to get carted straight into the race. I know Holy Ghost goes good, so if he's travelling well, I can get back on his on his back.
Well, that's my each way plan today. If yours doesn't win, OP wins. Make the fortune in race number 2. This mare's been a bit of a puzzle at times, but she was so impressive a few starts ago. Can she bounce back today?
I think this one's more of a watch her go around and see if she's capable of stepping up in grade. She's only a Class 1 and she's a fair bit out of the grade, but the distance suits. I think that barrier suits her a lot too. Being out wide, she just hates the kickback. So I'm hoping Hegney can jump her out and try and ride her positive today. I want to be forward and just stay out of that kickback. And if she's out of the kickback, I can't see why she can't just keep running. She's very fit, very big, strong horse. So, but it's more of a watch, I think.
Simply Rosso, I thought the run last time out, you're nabbed by your dad's horse, Royal Zell late, but it was a bloody massive run, 3 and 4 deep, the trip under the big weight, and they finished well clear of the third horse. Shiny goes on today, still got the big weight, 61 after the claim, and it's a pretty good race, but he's got to be competitive.
Yeah, I think he's proven he can carry weight. He's carried weight pretty much the whole season. He's going good. There's nothing I can say bad about him. He just absolutely tries his guts out. I think he's going to be up there, and I think he will be hard to beat. I think he just runs the same race week in, week out. And Port Headland, he just seems to just find another leg here. He's only had the 3 starts this year for 2 wins, and like you say, got rolled by Dad's horse on the line. So, yeah, he's a horse that just loves the track. Good barrier. I think he goes forward, and he should be there nearly all the way.
In the TAMS Port Headland Cup, Reg, you see one of your favourites. It looked like I followed your socials and saw some of the scenes on track. It looked like it was pretty jovial scenes getting this boy back to his best after a year out of the winners list last time out.
Yeah, it was my first ever winner, so I'll always have a soft spot for him. He is one of my little babies, that's for sure. It was hard to see him not going as good this year, but like I said, that last meeting, he was finally back. Even when I was riding him, I thought he's finally, he needed just the whole season. I kept saying he just needs ground. He needs to find a bit more ground. He's just been struggling. And then running in the 14s and miles and stuff, he just was getting run off his legs a little bit. The 18, he could find the front and then he could kick. So the 2400 or 2200, I think if he finds the front, he should be there a long way too.
You look to go forward?
Yeah, he'll be going forward from that barrier, I'd say.
And you're confident that 2200 is right up his wheelhouse because he is unproven?
Yeah, I reckon he can. He'll be able to run it out for sure. Even when I was talking to Holly Noddle, she was saying in the 1800 he just come back to her underneath her perfect and was just travelling the whole race and then up the straight kicked away. And she said, I have no doubts that he'll be able to run the 2-2. So it's a positive I can look at.
What about Novatoria? I think this is the only horse you brought up here that hasn't won technically, although of course she did win a few back before it was taken away from her. Alicia Whittington, I rode a double yesterday in Broome. She comes down to ride. She's in form. Can Novatorio finish the season on a winning note? She's
a very tricky horse, that's for sure. You just don't know what you're going to get when she comes out on the track. I get the feeling you'd be very proud
if you get a win with her because you've done a lot of work with her behind the scenes.
I'd be very proud, yeah. But she's just a tricky horse. On her day, or when she got disqualified at Port Headland, she just put him away that easy. It just was effortless for her. And then all the other starts, she just does everything wrong in a race and just gets herself beat.
Yep.
She's gone down the outside fence I don't know how many times. So if I can get her around the corner and she's only 1 or 2 off or 3 off, I'll be wrapped.
Okay, the best of your runners?
Be Border Control.
Okay.
I think Simply Rosso would be close too.
Okay.
I reckon they're my two best.
Just on Port Headland to train horses here, to explain to our listeners how good is it?
I love it. It's just a lot of beach work, and then they have the big sand dunes we ride up, and then Troy opens the track for us when we need a gallop. So we've got everything here, and there's a little beach where you can swim them, so that's what I do. A lot of swimming and beach work with mine.
And the weather up here has been perfect. Just magnificent days, aren't they? 27,
Today's
28
beautiful,
degrees.
yeah.
It's going to be a spanker today as well. So,
is there one of your dad's? I don't know how closely you know, or you follow, or how much you know about your dad's horses, but is there one Tommy can be confident in today?
I like Royal Zell.
Royal Zell, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he's one of that just loves the track too. They love that grass. It's like Border Control. He struggles in the dirt, hits the grass, and then they
go
fly. Yeah.
Forget the run at Roadburn last time out. Hey, Tim, you're a star. Good luck today, mate, and hopefully end the season on a winning note.
Hopefully a couple would be nice, yeah.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
On you, Timmy.
Tim Pike joining us here live from the Port Headland Turf Club. He's had a wonderful season, Mart. He's, as we said, every horse that he brought up, bar Nova Torio's won a race.
Oh, let's hope he goes on with it today. It's a big day. It is the TAMS Port Headland Cup here at the Port Headland Turf Club. All in readiness. The ground staff are working very hard this morning all around us, making sure that everything is tuned to the minute. As the man who got us on the golf course on Friday, putt, Ian Gladding joins us.
How are you, Ian?
Yeah, good morning, boys. Good morning, listeners.
Turned yourself out looking a treat today as well.
Yeah, I just said I hope they haven't got a TV camera there. 'Cause
We'll have a look.
Yeah, and they're filming. Yeah, okay. So
there is something wrong with this. There is something wrong. Now, it is not TV, but Beck's on the wrong side of the camera, isn't she?
well, exactly. Yeah, she should be in front of it, not us.
Not us. Now, what about the Ryan Hill camp? How are we looking for today?
Yeah, got a runner in every race today, so it's going to be a busy day. I've just been down there setting up the gear. A few good chances, so hopefully we can win another one.
Have you enjoyed it? First time doing the Northwest circuit. Have you had a lot of fun?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The people up here have been amazing. Troy Morrissey and the club have really looked after us up here and travelling around, Marble Bar and Roban and those places. A lot of volunteers in those clubs that put it all together. And they've been, absolutely fantastic looking after us. Anything we've wanted, they've gone out of the way to help us. And, really lovely people up here.
You brought a big team up as well. You didn't come up with just a few. You've brought up a big team. Ryan rang you up when you were in Thailand or somewhere?
I was in Korea with my partner.
Sorry.
Over there, and he said, we were going to the races over there. It's run by Finn Parry.
Yep.
And I said, I'll go back. So I was only sort of in at my place for like one day before we came up here. And I brought a truckload up, and then Ryan sent a couple more up. And I think he forgot I was here on my own. So it's been busy, but it's been good. It's really enjoyable.
Who have you been? How do you work your horses? Do you have track work riders, or do you lunge them? Or
we're doing a bit of lunging and whatnot. A few different things. Horse like the old Chuck, he's in the cup today. Been putting him over a few jumps.
Yeah.
This week because he's been sort of going through the motions a bit. And I said to Ryan. We're going to sort of try something different with him, wake him up, and Ryan's really good. He just sort of trusts my judgment, lets me do whatever I want to do with him up here, and so far it's worked really good.
What about If You Blush in the maiden? Ran a really good race at Marble Bar behind the stablemate a couple of starts ago, and then wasn't beaten too far. I thought, though, he had every chance behind Only by the Night, the other stablemate last time out. Can he win a maiden, or she win a maiden today?
The horse has done really well since its last start. It's appreciated. The sun's come through really nice on the coat. As I said, you're right. The last run was a little bit average, but I think if it's gonna win a race up here today, could be the day.
Only by the Night won that maiden. Marine's Cry ran second. Marine's Cry came out and bolted in at Roburn last weekend. Can we just forget the run at Derby by Only by the Night last time out?
Yeah, well the win here at Headland, it run really well by about 3 lengths, as you say, beat our other horse, Marine's Cry, has since come out and won by about 4 lengths here. Got caught up on the fence at Derby, and the dirt was just coming back, and when they get caught up on the fence up here and that dirt keeps coming back, it makes it very difficult. So I wouldn't be taking too much notice of that last run. If you go back, as I say, to the previous run at Headland, once you hit the grass, it really grew a leg. So I'm not sure what sort of price it is, but it's probably going to be a fair price today. It's probably a good each-way chance.
Yeah, no prices, unfortunately, for any race bar the two features at this stage. Shani Webster goes on to Marine's Cry in race number 3, draws wide, 1,400 metres. Do you look to sort of go forward and try pinch a few sectionals again?
It'll go forward again. I actually don't mind the draw. It's drawn to the outside, but Shani will come across, gets him at a good weight. It could lead or sit outside the leader. Either way, it's sort of going to be out of the dirt. Bit of pressure on with that one. That's Ryan's own horse. So he was pretty pleased when I were able to get it over the line last time. But it should run well again, and I don't think the barrier is really an issue.
Incandescent Lady's been flying, and Holly Noddle's been getting on really well with this mare. She's back up to the 1200 and rises to the 54. It's not a bad race, to be honest, here. This one, Popey's got a couple of nice ones, and the two Pike runners at the top have been racing really well, but you'd think she'll go forward from the wide draw and give them something to catch, or at least be up there again?
Yeah, definitely go forward again. Horse is racing really well. It's probably going the best of our horses up here, and it's going to be hard to beat again.
Race 5 for Mo. That's a decent field, the Richardson Sprint, but another horse of yours that's been going really well?
Yeah, for Mo's racing well. I think that's the one Timmy's got the top weight in, is it?
Border Control, yeah.
Yeah, I think Timmy's also going to be very hard to beat in that. But for Mo will be, up there again, pretty good each way bid again. But as I say, I think the top weight will be hard to beat.
Chuckalux, $31. He'll lead up to 2,200 metres. Maybe Roburn to forget. Can we see any improvement today?
Yeah, well, as I said, I put him over a few jumps this week. Just tried something different. And he's, in fairness, he's actually done really well. He's brightened him up. He looks really well. Could probably do with another lap if we could organise that. He'd just go all day. But I think with the right run, go forward, it's probably a place chance at best, yeah.
And Smart Shadow again for Holly in the last race. The run at Roburn wasn't too bad. Hasn't done much racing of late. And the maiden win was at the mile, steps up to the 1,300 metres here. Can you give any kind of push there?
Yeah, it's only briefly been up here, this horse. It came up the other day. It's led in and won in races, so it can go forward. Horse looks really well, and anything where you're up on the pace here is probably a chance. But, there again, probably each way chance.
Best of his runners?
Probably Incandescent Lady and Marine's Cry, as I said, particularly Marine's Cry, as I said, I don't see that barrier as any sort of issue.
No sign of Harry McCreary coming up?
Who?
Hilly.
No, I've kept him away, mate. He keeps messaging me. He messaged me yesterday and he said, geez, you're in the right place. He said it's bloody freezing.
Wet down there.
And wet down there. But, no, he's good. So we'll go through from here to Broome. We've managed to get some yards up there.
Good.
So we're going to take a few horses up there for the Broome meeting and then go through to, I think, Newman, Carnarvon and Gascoyne Junction. I was actually looking at the phone trying to figure out where Gascoyne Junction, because it just says Junction Race Club.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in Junction. I said to the locals Friday night, where is this joint? It doesn't come up on the maps. And they said, no, you've got to put in Gascoyne. So. And
we've got to get to a break. Been fantastic catching up with you. We'll see you back here again today. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, it'll be a great day, big crowd. Congratulations to the club and all they do in putting it on, and we're really appreciative of that.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, guys.
Racing and sport from different angles. You're listening to the Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Yes, broadcasting live from the Port Headland Turf Club. Thanks to Port Headland Ford, also to Cube. They've been terrific sponsors. And, of course, Troy Morrissey here at the Port Headland Turf Club.
All right, time now to have a look at Kalgoorlie today. And one of the new Saturday Metro apprentices, Chanel Cooper's about to join us. How are you, Chanel?
Hey, Alex. Yeah, I'm good.
Sounds like you're on the way to the airport, are you?
Yeah, I'm just currently driving.
Now that you're a Saturday Metro apprentice, how was it yesterday at Pinjarra? Had 4 rides. What did you make of the run of Petula for Simon Miller? Good to see you getting a ride for a stable like Simon's.
Yeah, no, it was really great to get a ride for Simon yesterday. The horse went super, managed to handle that track really well because it was chopped out pretty good, and we were just unlucky on a run.
So we're up in Port Headland, Chanel. Marty Young here. Tell us quickly about Pinjarra. How did it play and cope with all the rain yesterday?
It's definitely a tired track at the moment. It handled it just, but it was hit or miss whether your horse could yesterday. So
yeah, okay.
What about your rides today, Chanel? Should we go through them? You kick it off in race number 2, Mungo Jerry for Ricky Brown. Horse has been thereabouts of late. Do you give this gelding much of a chance? You have ridden him a few times this season.
Yeah, I think he should be a chance. He's always competitive in that class of race. So a month between his runs, I think, will be better for him, if anything. I don't think it will phase him. And with a good gate, we should just be able to stalk the favourites.
Okay, race number 3, you're on the People's Mare, Evelina, for Peter Fernie.
Yeah, she should be a decent chance too. Last run she was unlucky and couldn't get a run up the whole straight. So I'm hoping I could just lob a good spot and get her some room. And obviously being a Peter trained mare, she's always competitive.
Now, Mitchy Pateman's taking a team up. Fantastic. You ride for Mitch in race number 4, up from Northam last time out. What do you make of his chances?
Yeah, I think he should be a really solid chance up there. He's shown class on his day this horse. So last run, obviously, he was just really unlucky and got chopped out in the straight. And I'm not quite sure how I'll ride him because he can be ridden forward and back. So I'll leave that up to Mitchell. But I think he should be really competitive in this class of race.
Okay, and race number 5 again for Mitch, the horse he named after himself, Chest Out Swagger, drawn 1. What are your plans here?
Well, obviously we've drawn a good gate. Dropping back to 1,300, that should suit him because he didn't look like he saw out the mile last trip. So, yeah, I think I'm not quite sure what Mitchell asked me to do, but yet again he should be able to get over those type of horses up there, I think.
Ruling Dame, you take over from Tash. Had no luck this mare last time out. Draws wide again today, but it looks a race where there's certainly a fair few winning chances.
Yeah, well, last start, obviously, she was unlucky. The race just didn't play out to how she needed it to, and drawn sticky again, so I'm not quite sure how I really ride her yet. So, yeah, there's a few to beat in it, but we'll just have to see how she goes.
And what about call time? You take over from Lucy and Brandon, who have been riding this, Braden, who's been riding this horse of late. Third its last 3 starts. Do you think she's good enough to win a race like this?
I think she could be good enough. She seems like a really honest horse and seems to always put in a good run. So I'm hoping with just a little bit extra weight off her back. They've got a good gate. We shouldn't have to do much work early. So I think it's definitely a winnable race today.
Who's your best today, Chanel?
I think my best is got to be Fantastics for Mitchell.
All right.
I like the look of that horse. I rode at track work last week and it gave a good feel too. So.
Race 4, number 3, Mark, the best for Chanel. Hey, Chanel, you're a star doing great things. Good luck at Kalgoorlie today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Chanel Cooper,
She's in a rare patch of form at the moment. She's hot. Now, talking about hot, Richie Bell, Lockie Taylor. They'll be racy rewinding between 8 and 9 with Sophie Stone. Time for 1 or 2 texts for Retrovision.
Yep, let's get a couple of texts to you. Hi, Marty. Rewriters in the country areas could a solution be that apprentices be on loan with nominated trainers or clubs and RAWA pick up the tab? Obviously, the cost of employing someone is cost prohibitive to the country circuit trainers. Would be a win-win as the development of the rider would come as a result. Needs some research and controls, but would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so that's an adjunct as to what we spoke about earlier on. So good thoughts there. Who was that from?
That was from Brian.
Brian.
We've had a few from Rick of Rossmoyne. Thanks for getting involved, Rick. He's spoken about, well, he reckons the Vixens were unlucky with the netball last night. Collingwood and Darcy Moore torched again. Boy, is he missing his buddy Jeremy Howe. No wonder they want Silvani. Today's Test cricket headline, England sets up chance of climax with a bit of tongue. There we go. Of course, they're named after one of their bowlers. Harley Reid is worth every dollar they pay him. He is no Judd or Cousins yet, but he is the only player we have who could ever be their standards. Why would you not pay him? Brad, do you think the Eagles' future is much brighter than Carlton, Melbourne, Kangas, Essendon, Saints, and the Demons?
No, it's not. They've got to do something. They've got to do everything right from here, don't they? At the end of this season, they have to get it right. Apparently, McKenna's now into the club as well, so it's got that old boys feel about it at the moment. Al, time for us to go. Thanks to Soph back down there in stormy old Perth. Thanks to all our listeners. And hopefully you bet up at Port Headland today, also at Kalgoorlie. And our good mate Shane Jackson, he's pretty confident he can win that Grand National at Sandown today, so play him as well. To our sponsors, Cube, Ports and Bulk, they've been fantastic. Also to Port Headland Ford and the Port Headland Turf Club. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.